I feared this moment. I feared this moment. I feared this moment. Wilder versus Fury 3 ain't happening. Well, at least not in July. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash app, and the Patreon family. We working. Now sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It does help the channel. They just announced and recently put Wilder versus Fury 2 and made it available for ESPN Plus users. So now with the lockdown, the shutdown, which we're going to talk about more, it's a great time to sign up with ESPN Plus. Click on that link if you want to help the channel and you want to get some content through ESPN Plus. Tons of docuseries, documentaries, you know, sports programming. Normally they have live events, but what's happening in the world globally, obviously there's no real live events. But Dana White is convinced that UFC will happen with Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. So I'm not sure the parameters with that, but I'll wait for the UFC to announce that. You can also get ESPN Plus with Hulu, Disney Plus, all three of those apps for one price, $12.99 a month. And we're going to talk about it. Now, I feared this moment. Wilder versus Fury, they already had a rematch written into the contract of, or a trilogy, I guess you could say, written into the contract of the second fight. And this was known before they even fought, before Wilder lost to Tyson Fury, all that. We knew this. And it looks like Wilder had decided to exercise and trigger the rematch clause. But obviously things happen throughout the world with the Rona, and that basically knocked all the boxing out. The Rona's undefeated right now. So all the events got canceled. You look at places like Las Vegas and Reno, gambling, you know, gambling state of Nevada, looks bone dry, looks dead. Ghost Town, USA. They're telling and advising everybody. The CDC came out with some guidelines. Make sure you educate and familiarize yourself with that. But they've told everyone to stay home. There's no large gatherings. They say stay away from crowds. This Rona is absolutely very, very serious, and it should be taken as such. This has claimed some lives, and they're trying to stop the curve from growing. And, you know, even basketball players have contracted this. Tom Hanks, recently basketball player Karl Anthony Towns, he says his mom is in a medically induced coma because her and her spouse, her husband, his dad, started feeling ill one day. And the dad, I guess, got released from the hospital, but the mom wasn't doing so hot. She showed signs of improvement. And Towns said that his mom was later released. It looked like she was making a full come around, you know, she was coming around and whatnot. And then all of a sudden she started feeling worse than ever, and she had to get admitted back into the hospital. And they found out, you know, it's still, her problems are severe and her lungs weren't cooperating. So they put her in a medically induced coma. So prayers out to that brother. So make sure you guys stay at home. You know, we're just going to have to bear through this and deal with it. Wash your hands, do everything. But I want to talk about the title of this video. Wilder Fury is now postponed. So the date, we knew that they were going to do a rematch. Wilder said he wanted the rematch. He said that things didn't go right. One of those things being his 45-pound costume. People made fun of that. Really, you know, the thing is, I think people overstated that. And I'm drinking tea, so you guys will have to bear with me. People overstated that 45-pound costume, said, oh, this is ridiculous and this is BS and blah, 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 right? But most likely he was being interviewed, and I still haven't even seen an actual video of this, but Yahoo Sports reported it and they have the interview. So I don't know if this was like on the record, off the record, I don't know. But nonetheless, he was asked a question, what went wrong? I'm assuming, because you don't just start, hey, you know, do you really think Wilder said, hey, Kevin Iole, Yahoo Sports, I want to talk to you about this 45-pound costume? Or he was, they reached out to him, tried to do an interview and said what went wrong or something to this effect, and Wilder responded. So a lot of people blew that out of proportion. It is what it is. But one thing we do know is Fury versus Wilder ain't happening. It was supposed to happen, again at the MGM Grand, Las Vegas, July 18th. And it's not happening on that date. Now they're saying October because it just doesn't make sense. With no events being in April or most likely May, this is a big fight. This is a money-making fight. You need time to promote. They wouldn't even be able to stage press conferences and have sparring partners and, you know, gather crowds for promotional, you know, sending Fox or ESPN camera crews to their gym. So I want to talk about it. July 18th was a targeted date, but you see CBS Sports, which CBS owns Showtime. You know, it says Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder 3 fight pushed back from July date due to coronavirus pandemic. Man. So it sucks, but we got to bear with it. Now, my guest reader, Money Penny. Y'all got to give it up to Money Penny. I told you I'm like James Bond when it comes to this boxing talk, and we going to talk about it. Let's get it.
WBC and lineal heavyweight champion Tyson Fury and rival Deontay Wilder will move forward.
Let's start from the beginning.
The trilogy fight between WBC and lineal heavyweight champion Tyson Fury and rival Deontay Wilder will move forward, just not in July as planned. Top Rank chairman Bob Arum told ESPN on Tuesday that they are anticipating holding the heavyweight bout in the fall due to the global coronavirus pandemic, delaying it from the anticipated July 18th date. Wilder took advantage of his contractual ability as the loser of their February rematch to initiate a third fight after being battered by Fury until his corner threw in the towel to end things in the 7th round. He subsequently blamed the loss on the weight of the elaborate costume he wore to the ring while saying he would take advantage of guaranteed rematch clause.
See, like I said, they're focusing on this rematch. Bro, it just wasn't his night, you know? People are focusing on this costume thing. Like, oh, he said the costume. He said the costume. Like, it's not even that serious. Like, I never understood why people are so, like, fixated. He lost. That's it, you know? But we know that Tyson Fury is now involved in some legal issues. He just had to pay basically settle out of court with his old promoter for he was being targeted or sued for breach of contract. They settled before it got to, you know, the deep court proceedings. Then this farmer, Martin Carefoot, came out just in the middle of Glovegate. You know, people were looking at Fury's gloves. It looks like Fury's gloves have been tampered with. They're certainly not on properly. So he got a lot of stuff going. So it's probably good that this fight gets pushed back, because for it to happen that quick with all this stuff going on and no answers, I don't think that would be ideal. But let's keep going.
The third fight between the two, after Fury's win in February and their December 2018 majority draw, was planned for July 18th at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, with casinos in Las Vegas shut down because of the virus and no clear picture of when the world would return to a normal enough state for a venue to host the event. Arum said it made no sense to proceed as if everything was on track. In addition, travel restrictions mean Fury's English countrymen likely be unable to get to the United States for the fight. You could not guarantee the fighters that the event would take place on that date. We couldn't convince them or ourselves.
So that's a good point. You know, Tyson Fury, he's right now he's in, or at least from what he posted, he's at home in the UK, and he was doing a marathon at Lancashire and Lancaster, where he's from, where he's born. And how's his team going to travel? I don't know how many people on his entourage, but let's say 25 people. How are they going to travel right now? So there's no way it could happen with all this stuff hanging in the air. And, you know, I seen the press conference, Trump saying he wants it done by Easter. Man, he got to sit down and listen to the medical experts. They're the ones that have the insight. He just wants the economy to get back to normal, which, of course, nobody wants to see the economy, you know, go into the Great Depression or take a massive hit. Like I remember more in the early 2000s when it just was bad time when they were giving stimulus packages and the real estate market was crap. It was just a horrible time back then for the economy. Gas prices, you know, everything. So I can understand nobody wants the economy to have to go through it, but you can't rush a virus. A virus don't care. A virus don't care about your color, creed, your gender, your height. It doesn't care if you're famous. It doesn't care if you're unemployed, if you're employed. If you out in these streets it could get you. It doesn't just attack elderly people and things like that. So you have to try to beat this thing and let it subside. So the Trump is saying some weird stuff, but for me, I would rather everybody's taking a hit right now. We just got to make do and survive, stay at home, survive, things of this sort, no large groups and gathering. Since we're already in the thick of it, I would rather just take the massive hit, and then once it's contained or controlled, or we have some plausible safety net of people and the population being safe, then we try to rebuild and just pick up the pieces. But what Trump's saying don't really make sense, to rush it and try to get this. He's talking about he wants people are gonna Cobain themselves, and I got to use certain words, but you guys know what I'm talking about. They want to Kurt Cobain themselves if they have to stay at home. Man, come on, stop. Your businesses are taking a hit, your stocks are taking a hit, and Trump don't want to be responsible for it. He don't want to be the person in charge while this is going on, because he likes to take credit for everything good and nothing bad. But to me, it don't make sense to rush it and then let people come back out and have gatherings at church. You go to church. I ain't going to no church, with gatherings of people, and this stuff is not cleared up yet. And then you get more people sick. You just, you can't sweep it under the rug, something like this, which is why I'm glad the states, and there are some people in some jurisdictions in states like Florida, Texas even, they just doing whatever they want. California been on lockdown. Shout out to Newsom for that, and certain people were acting like it was Party Town USA, bro. They need to start, whether they need to get the National Guard so we can hurry up and get past this, and have a curfew, don't have a bunch of people out and about, stores close early, and then just pick up the pieces. So that's my little rant. But Bob Arum's right. You couldn't guarantee that people would be able to travel, and you got one fighter who's from over there in the UK, so he would be traveling from abroad. It just doesn't make sense to announce Wilder Fury. Like, even if they did a crowdless thing, how's he going to get here? When there's probably strict bans and, just things like that. You just don't want that on your conscience. Back to you, Moneypenny.
In the United States for the fight, you could not guarantee the fighters that the event would take place on that date. We couldn't convince them or ourselves, ARUM told ESPN. Where were they going to train for it? It just made no sense. You just have to take a step back. How are you going to sell tickets? It's absolutely ridiculous to say the fight is on when the Brits can't even get there. ARUM said the fight was now looking likely for October, assuming the world returns to a state where sporting events are taking place as normal again. That would almost certainly be the final nail in the coffin of any hope of seeing the winner battle Anthony Joshua to determine a unified heavyweight world champion.
There you have it. Bob Arum did an interview with ESPN. Thank you, Moneypenny. I told you I'm like 007 when it comes to this. I'm the king of the gadgets. So, hey, listen, I see they put the little Joshua thing. Man, I don't even care about the Joshua fight. This is what's hot. This needs to be resolved. Wilder wants another crack at his belt. He had 10 defenses. Tyson Fury, he already has history with Wilder. This needs to happen. So I don't know why everyone keeps talking about this Joshua situation. Joshua himself was already scheduled to fight a top-ranked fighter, Pulev, and it's his mandatory. And then they're saying he has the mandatory of Usyk. So Joshua, he got to take care of that stuff before before the Rona. We were listening and seeing Eddie Hearn clout chase, and the link for this article will be in the description. We were seeing the clout chasing from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn was talking about, we want this, and this would be a great fight, and the world wants to see it, and talking about where we could stage it. Just a bunch of filth, flooring, and filth. But the bottom line is Wilder Fury, we knew that they had a rematch. Tyson Fury, his team, I would say Bob Arum, Top Rank, Frank Warren, they all knew that Wilder was likely to exercise his rematch clause, period. Where the people are saying, the other thing is there's a lot of people who say, Wilder shouldn't do it. You can't tell these fighters nothing. That's just bottom line. I've already tried it, because to me, Anthony Joshua, I said the same thing. I said, man, don't fight Andy Ruiz again after how that looked, you know. And Andy Ruiz did what fighters do, remained defiant, and he actually beat him. He beat him. So Anthony Joshua in that instance got the last laugh. Same thing with Sergey Kovalev. I said, oh, Eliter Alvarez, he dropped you 3 times. Don't do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't fight him again. Right away. It's not a good look. And then he fought him right away. And then he convincingly beat him with Buddy McGirt. He switched some things around and he beat him. So there's a lot of people in this game who they want to do what I do, and everybody wants to have a voice and, you know, do the commentary stuff. But some people's opinion, they're just saying stuff just to be saying stuff. The bottom line is you can't tell a fighter no. Like even guys like Andre Ward. I thought Andre Ward beat Kovalev, but some people were saying Kovalev beat him, you know. But you can't tell Andre Ward to not fight him again immediately when he wants to get that cleared up so there's no doubts. It's just what it is. And 2 weeks ago, obviously before the Rona stuff, Wilder said this: counting down the days until we are back in the ring, we will rise. I'm thankful for all the support from all of the Bomb Squad Nation and our newest member, Raising Cane, for having my back. So this was before the global pandemic, you know, reached a fever pitch. But Wilder said, he said, don't count me out just yet. A true champion faces adversity. And I know the word is adversity, but Wilder liked to say adversity, and comes back stronger, you know. WBC saying, keep it up, we are proud of you, but they don't want to look into Glovegate. All right. But anyway, Wilder said he coming back. So you can't tell him nothing. So I'm already over that. You know, oh, 45-pound suit. Okay, don't wear a 45-pound suit now. Let's get it cracking. It's a great fight. Fury got a lot of controversy. Wilder lost. He lost in a bad fashion. And he says, in my Shaka Zulu voice, prepare for the war. Bomb Squad. And this was a very solemn and serious Wilder. We will rise. So Wilder's been super quiet too. You know, he's been super quiet. I can't wait, man. I think that, bro, if Wilder wins, this is going to be some heavyweight historic stuff. You know, there's going to be some historic heavyweight stuff that we haven't seen. But the good thing is with Glovegate and the Tyson Fury stuff popping off, it looks like if the fight, if and when it happens, it'll be a fair one, because there's just too much controversy surrounding Tyson Fury, and the eyes have been open to, you know, the little glove gimmicks and tricks and loose glove, and, you know, the conversation, whether you believe it or not, it's been had, and people are paying attention and people are checking for it. So now we'll get a fair fight, which is what we want in the end. I can't wait for this. Wilder got to change some things. Actually, I will say this, because I'm a fair critic, like always. You know, I always give y'all the real. So smash the like button. If you're new, consider subscribing to my channel. I got the best, the latest and greatest in boxing talk. Quarantined or not, we gonna do this. Oh yeah, by the way, today's my birthday too, and we still working. We working. That don't stop. I'm quarantined up and we still working, birthday or not. Shout out to the Pisces and the Aries. I myself am an Aries. I'm headstrong. My big mouth. My big mouth. I can't help it. I speak from the heart. I'm real, like Pac said. So show that birthday love. If you're new, subscribe to my channel. But the good thing for Wilder in this situation is he did take a bad loss in the second fight. So with this pandemic, that actually gives him not much time to train necessarily with sparring partners, because they're advising everybody to stay at home. But this whole pandemic is trying everybody mentally. It's going to see what your mental makeup is about, because the world's going through it. This is not just like, oh, one race is affected, one gender is affected, only elderly people. This is the whole world. So it's going to test you and see how strong mentally you are. And Wilder is going to have to come back strong from his last performance. So, you know, one of the things that I said from the beginning is Wilder going into such a quick rematch in July, which was the proposed date that was written in the contract to make it happen by the end of July, you know, and July 18th was the date. That was super quick. It would have been from late February to July 18th. Now this pandemic is pushing back. It gives Wilder a little bit longer to get his mind right, and, you know, just do a spiritual cleanse and see what he needs to do to change. You know, so I can't wait. It just only makes the fight, in all of Fury's controversies, it only makes this fight bigger. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Wilder Fury 3 is off for July 18th. I repeat, no summer fight. The other thing that's going to be curious, or that's making me curious here, is with all these fights being delayed for, you know, the end of March, April, May, we might have some epic stuff once we beat this. I don't know when, but once we beat it, it's going to be epic, because it puts us at a disadvantage, and people are going to be looking to recoup and make some money. So hopefully people respect these events, and they're going to have to schedule and pick new dates for these fighters and these fights, especially the big ones. So we might get boxing back to, you know, you might get a span just based on being at a 2-3 month disadvantage of nobody's really fighting. You know, you might get Wilder Fury and then get Canelo and somebody, and, you know, get Teofimo Lomachenko back to back to back to back. You know, it might be a crazy schedule, because again, all these fights have to be rescheduled, and we're losing at least a few months based on trying to beat this curve and beat this Rona thing that nobody expected. So, you know, just everybody hang tight, stay strong, stay home, and, you know, get your mind right, because once we get back out of this, I think people will have a new appreciation for just life and, you know, preparedness and family. Just have a different level of humility. This 2020 has been very trying. And, you know, I said it last year. I said 2020, my vision is clear, just like 2020 vision, and nothing's changed. And then the beginning of the year, one of my favorite athletes, Kobe Bryant, passed away, along with his daughter and I believe 7 other passengers. So rest in peace to all of them. But I told you all year I'm keeping the Mamba mentality. So even with this, I didn't know all this other bad stuff was going to happen. Like, we lost the other Black Mamba, and on top of Kobe and his daughter and the passengers, we lost the other Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather. You know, we lost Mayweather's, the mother of his kids. And then now we're dealing with this pandemic. So, and we're losing time. We're, you know, activities. We're off to a bad start. But I told you at the beginning of the year, I'm going to show you how strong I am. And Mamba mentality, we're going to carry on that. The marathon continues. So I can't wait. I can't wait to finally beat this thing and Wilder Fury 3 and see how boxing is. I think God sometimes puts us in these positions to test us. That's just what it is. And he only gives this battle to the toughest soldiers, and we're all being tested right now. So that's the latest with Wilder Fury 3. Holla at me. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you are new here, consider subscribing. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.